The Left is a 2017 video essay by Natalie Wynn, aka ContraPoints. I want to read it as a manifesto stating what Wynn is doing with her platform and what she believes other left-leaning creators should do with theirs. In 2 words, her manifesto is be cool. In 5 words, it is be an ice-cold motherfucker. Or is that 6 words? I don't know. Hi, I'm David. Welcome to YouTube, a literary analysis. In this series, I combine my skills as a literary critic and as a person who watches too much YouTube in order to explore videos more closely as works of YouTube art. Like I said in my previous analysis video about it, ContraPoints is the channel run by Natalie Wynn. She creates elaborate, sometimes abrasive video essays about subjects ranging from incels to the concept of opulence. She has sometimes been credited for using a mix of edgy humor and rational argumentations in converting young men from the alt-right to the left. At any rate, she has many fans and seems to have influenced many creators. The Left should be read as a manifesto. Manifestos are published statements of beliefs and programs for the future. Natalie Wynn hints that this is what she is up to when she references the Marx Engels Reader, where the Communist Manifesto appears. So Wynn's The Left shrouds its manifesto-like role in the narrative, dialogue, and with humor. Nonetheless, I think it is crucial to listen carefully to this video, in particular if you want to understand what Natalie Wynn and many of the left-leaning video essays are trying to accomplish. It's a relatively straightforward presentation of their plan. A bit of historical context. 2017 was the first year of the Trump regime. The video came out a few months after the Charlottesville far-right demonstration in which Heather Heyer, a anti-right activist, was murdered. There was a growing sense that the far-right is growing in power, that it controls the streets, the internet, and the White House. In retrospect, many of the gloomiest predictions that did not come true, but it was quite a shaky time. And of course, some of them might still come true, if not in the US, then in other countries. It is natural for Wynn, who has been doing YouTube and covering the alt-right, etc. for a while by then, by 2017, to ask and say what it is she is doing to face this situation. It's a good time for a manifesto. Wynn's video can be broken up into 2 parts. We can call them the variety show and the game of chess, the latter composing most of the video. I call the first part the variety show because it seems like the 2 speakers are there to divert and entertain rather than to convince necessarily. Justine, a left-leaning centrist who seems closest to being Wynn's mouthpiece, introduces the first speaker with "Ladies and gentlemen," a fascist, almost like a circus ringleader, and the stock footage of clapping audiences seems to belong to this context as well. It feels like a show, not a political debate. On stage comes a satirical figure of a fascist dressed in semi-Nazi garb. In later videos, she will be named Freya. In a series of simple short words, the fascist presents her ideas. Everything she says has a strong emotional resonance.
My fellow Americans, a war is about to be waged between everything you love and everything you hate. I want you to imagine the faces of your wives and children. Picture their pure, white, innocent faces. Now, watch as those same wives are violated, those same children dashed to pieces under the black boots of the third world horde. Does that thought fill you with rage? Good.
Though the audience is expected to have an emotional reaction, to be angered by the possibility of violated white faces, The fascist remains calm and self-satisfied. This is not the hysterical fascist we sometimes see in other satires. The audience claps. It's not like they'll go and start an ethno-state tomorrow, but they are pleased with the performance. They'll be willing to hear more. Then Justine comes back on and announces a leftist. This is Tabby's first appearance in Wynn's videography, I believe. Tabby shows at least two stereotypes Wynn associates with leftism. On the one hand, she's overly intellectual and self-involved in her own theoretical framework.
So, actually, according to Hegel, the for itself can only be actualized through the in itself, so the individuation of the subject necessarily demands the transcendence of the dialectical object through the sublimation of negative materiality.
What Tabby says here would sound like jargon-laden gibberish to most people. Hegel is a famously complex German philosopher. He was actually not a leftist at all, but his thinking deeply influenced Karl Marx. For this reason, leftist intellectuals need to talk about Hegel sometimes, as if before discussing politics for today, one needs to lay the theoretical sources in 1800s thought. On the other hand, Tabby is easy to anger and willing to enact violence.
Oh, fuck you, you fucking racists! Death to capitalism! Hail Satan!
When the audience laughs at her philosophical gibberish, she curses them and calls them racists. Why? She didn't talk about race at all. She's not a person of color. When they boo, she hisses and takes up a bet. In short, she overreacts. She loses her cool. She's having a bad day. Listen, the violent tendency is not typical of most leftists that I know, but she reflects a minority who are willing to punch Nazis. I should say something about Tabby being a cat, specifically a cat girl. A cat girl is a mostly human young woman with the ears and teeth of a cat, sometimes a tail. This look, identity, biology, I don't know, is inspired by manga-style art. I read on the ContraPoints's Wiki Commons section that there is a community of leftist cat girls online, but I think that is probably not the reason why Wynn decided to make the leftist a cat girl. She picked this aesthetic because of qualities associated with cats, like self-involvement, self-sufficiency, quick reactions, sharp claws, and the tendency to hiss when feeling threatened. All these are qualities that characterize Tabby and the kind of left she represents. Also, maybe there's a reference to the kind of manga art Wynn reports elsewhere that alt-right men share with each other. Maybe she's trolling them. At any rate, the conclusion we are meant to reach after watching the variety show is that while the fascist right messages are racist and violent, their techniques are effective. At the same time, we don't even know what the left is trying to say because it is so bad at broadcasting its messages. Here, I'll show you with a chart. The second longer part of the video then is a kind of attempt to help the left, with which Wynn identifies, send its message in a more effective way, in a way that might succeed in the variety show that is the 21st century public sphere. Post-show, Justine and Tabby meet and play a game of chess. As far as I can tell, the game makes no sense as a game, but the movement of pawns accentuates the conflict between the two women. At the same time, it also creates a connection. After all, it is a friendly game of chess. It might also suggest that they are both smart, that the game they play is an intellectual one. Tabby's recurring rejection of Justine's sexual romantic advances also projects a sense of strained connection between the radical and the more mellow lefties. In this friendly yet competitive environment, Tabby is able to make some simple and convincing points. That socialism, even communism, does not mean that people won't have personal possessions. That anti-fascist organizations mostly work behind the scenes to fight fascism and extreme right ideas in non-violent ways. That a few people willing to engage in physical fighting can protect the mostly peaceful protesters. Ironically, the way she makes her points calmly, with comparatively little jargon and succinctly, proves Justine's overall point, which is that public messaging is most effective when done in a cool manner. What she means by cool is...
So what does it mean to be cool? Cool is calm, detached, and in control of yourself.
Leftists who want to spread their ideas need to be in control of themselves and the media they produce. They can't let right-wing provocations have the better of them, set the agenda. This control has to do with their affect. Don't seem too angry, don't seem hysterical, but it is also at its core the rationale for how and why Wynn creates her own video essays. Unlike other YouTube staples like reactions and quick commentary, video essays are carefully scripted, filmed and edited. Wynn controls almost every aspect of production, from script to acting all the parts to editing, because the videos are an opportunity to present ideas in a calm, collected fashion, an opportunity to be cool. Wynn is very sensitive, I think maybe oversensitive, about leftists filmed having a tantrum on a bad day, losing their shit.
Social justice warriors, who everyone cringes at online, are people who I'm sure are nice people, but who are having a bad moment, and they're caught on camera in the middle of an outburst. They're out of control, and that's the problem. It's not cool.
She feels this is the opposite of cool. She feels this hurts the ability of the left to get its message out. Video essays, what Wynn does, is the opposite of being caught by somebody else's camera on a bad day. It's catching everybody else's attention with your own camera. Even if you do see a video essayist get angry, as H-Bomber guy does,
puts all the low-lying areas on the coast underwater. You think that people aren't going to just sell their homes and move?
Just one small problem. Sell their houses to who, Ben? Fucking Aquaman!
It's not really out of control at all. It's what he wants to put out there. H-Bomber guy set up the plaster wall and he'll perform anger by breaking it. But at the same time that he shows anger at flat earthers and climate deniers,
fucking Aquaman!
He also shows control because the video is his, and we all know that if a tantrum is in there, he decided to show us this tantrum. Indeed, control anger is accounted for in Wynn's Manifesto. When Tabby makes the argument that anger is the rational response to injustice, Justine concedes this point, but she adds that a controlled degree of anger can be sprinkled atop the cool presentation. What you get is
Ice cold.
What does it mean to be ice cold? Justine brings Miles Davis, the jazz musician, as an example. He could express anger about how black men are treated without caring about respectability or what other people will say. At the same time, he was in control and very cool. What's important for me here is that this is the emotional position Wynn wants to take up. Calm, collected, controlled, yes, blended with some anger and perhaps even righteousness. That's the way forward for creating messages that will advance progressive leftist goals. Like in all of her videos, Wynn plays all of the roles. That means she also plays the fascist. We can shrug it off as part of the conventions of YouTube's. The creator play all the characters, of course. But you could also interpret this fact in several ways. The more obvious one, I think, is to say that we all have the potential to be fascist. Okay. But another reading might be that we all have the potential to be as effective in reaching an audience as the fascist in the beginning in the variety show was. After all, Tabby and Freya are the same person, both controlled by Wynn. Maybe Tabby can be as self-assured and clear as Freya. Maybe the good message and the good messaging can go together. So let me know what you think I missed, what I got right, what I got wrong. Let me know if you have any questions about what I said. I plan on making more of these videos. If you have suggestions for other videos you'd like me to talk about, let me know in the comments. As always, if you think I made something simple, more complicated, that's fine. Sometimes that's my job too. Thank you for listening.